The story begins in a thick forest, where a man is running like crazy. He is hoping to find some way out of the forest, but the forest is so dense that he cannot see any path leading outside. The man keeps moving forward while looking at the sun, but the sun is slowly going down. Even then, he does not stop running. After running for some time, he reaches a point where he sees a signboard. The board says point of no return, which means that once someone reaches this place, there is no way back. The number 108 is also written on the board. After seeing this, the man becomes even more worried. Slowly, it starts getting darker, and a strange feeling of fear spreads across the entire forest. Suddenly, all the birds fly away from the trees at the same time. The man has already traveled for many miles, but he has not seen even a single wild animal anywhere in the forest. It feels like there is something in this place that even the wild animals are afraid of. The man becomes more scared and starts running even faster. After traveling for many more hours, he suddenly stops at one place. A look of hopelessness appears on his face because the same signboard is standing in front of him again. It is the board with the number 108 and the words point of no return. Now the man understands that no matter how much he runs, he cannot escape from this forest. So he starts looking for a place where he can hide, but he cannot find any safe place around him. Because of this, he decides to climb a tree. But suddenly the tree branch breaks and the man falls from a great height onto the ground. After falling from the tree, he is badly injured. He has several deep wounds on his body. Before he can lose consciousness, the ground suddenly begins to shake. At the same time, he hears strange growling sounds coming from somewhere nearby. Hearing those sounds makes him freeze in fear. Then, without warning, something suddenly grabs him and drags him away. We are not shown who or what is pulling him. We only hear the man screaming in pain. 6 days after this incident, the story takes us to the city, where we are introduced to a girl named Mina. She works at a bird shop. One day, her boss comes to her and asks her to deliver a golden parrot to a zoo located far outside the city. Mina agrees to do the job and takes the parrot with her. She gets into her car, enters the zoo's location on her phone, and starts her journey. After leaving the city, Mina notices a board covered with pictures of missing people. This shows that many people have disappeared in this area, but Mina does not pay much attention to the board and keeps driving. While traveling, she decides to take a shortcut through the forest so she can deliver the parrot to the zoo more quickly. Soon, she reaches deep inside the forest. This is the same forest where we earlier saw the man disappear. Mina has now entered the exact place where something terrible happened before. After driving deeper into the forest, she realizes that she is badly stuck. She checks the map on her phone, but there is no mobile signal in this area. Even the radio in her car has stopped working. Mina decides to turn back and leave the forest, but now she cannot understand which road will take her outside. After some time, her car also stops working. Mina gets out of the car and then she sees the same signboard standing in front of her. It says point of no return. Mina has no idea what is happening. So she takes the parrot's cage in her hand and starts walking around the area to look for help. But there is no sign of any person or any kind of help nearby. After searching for some time, Mina returns to the place where she had parked her car. But when she gets there, her car is gone. Seeing this makes her extremely worried. At first, Mina thinks that maybe she has returned to the wrong place. She believes that her car might still be parked somewhere else because every part of this forest looks exactly the same. She cannot tell one place from another. By now, the darkness is also getting deeper. Then, just like before, all the birds suddenly fly away from the trees at the same time. Mina is now starting to feel scared because the ground is shaking hard beneath her feet. She also feels like someone is somewhere nearby. Suddenly, Mina notices a shadow in the distance. She quickly runs after it, but when she reaches that place, no one is there. Then Mina suddenly sees an old woman running through the forest. Mina starts chasing her and calls out for help. But the woman does not stop. She keeps running as fast as she can. Mina follows her again, but after a few moments, the old woman suddenly disappears once more. Mina keeps looking for her and moves deeper into the forest. Then she notices a large, strange room in the distance. The old woman appears near its entrance, opens the door, and tells Mina that if she wants to stay alive, she needs to come inside quickly. Hearing this, Mina does not waste any time. She runs straight toward the room. As soon as Mina enters, the old woman closes and locks the door. Mina looks around and realizes that this is a very strange room. A huge mirror is built into one side of it. There are also 2 other people inside with the old woman. Mina is confused and asks them what this place is. The old woman tells her that they call this place the coupe. She introduces herself as Madeline. She then points to the girl and says her name is Kira. The young man with them is Daniel. Madeline tells Mina that this is not the time for a long conversation. She asks Mina to quickly stand with them in front of the mirror because someone is about to come and watch them. Mina asks who is coming to see them, but Madeline does not answer her. Suddenly, strange sounds start coming from outside. Mina becomes frightened and asks what is making those noises. Kira tells her that they call these creatures the Watchers. They stand on the other side of the glass and watch the people inside, but the people inside cannot see them. The Watchers come every night after sunset and continue watching them until the sun rises in the morning. Just then, loud sounds begin coming from the other side of the mirror. Mina asks what the noise means. Madeline tells her that the Watchers are happy because Mina is new. They are making the noise because they are excited to see her. Mina is completely confused by everything she is hearing. All she wants is to get out of this place as soon as possible. Until now, Mina has not seen the creatures Madeline calls the Watchers. In fact, none of the others have properly seen them either. The night eventually passes, and when morning arrives, everyone leaves the room. Madeline explains that the Watchers only come out at night. During the daytime, they are free to move around the forest. Mina has spent the whole night waiting for morning because she wants to leave this forest as quickly as possible. So as soon as daylight comes, she starts searching for a way out. Madeline tells the others not to stop her. It almost feels like Madeline already knows that Mina will not be able to escape and will eventually come back. Before Mina leaves, Madeline warns her that this is a bad decision. She tells Mina there is no way out of this forest. Everyone has to return to the coupe before night falls. If Mina comes back too late, she could lose her life, but Mina refuses to listen. She takes her parrot with her and quickly walks deeper into the forest. After going a short distance, she sees the same point of no return sign again. Seeing it makes her nervous, but she does not give up. She looks at the sun and keeps walking in the same direction, hoping it will lead her out of the forest. But even after continuing for a long time, she still cannot escape. Eventually, the path itself comes to an end. Mina realizes that she is now standing at the top of a mountain. From there, she can see nothing but endless forest stretching far into the distance. There is no road, no town, and no clear way out. Mina loses hope and sits down in disappointment. Suddenly, someone places a hand on her shoulder. Mina becomes terrified and quickly turns around. She sees that it is the old woman Madeline. Madeline tries to calm her and tells her that Mina is not the first person who has tried to escape and failed. She says that all of them tried to leave this place before, just like Mina, but they also failed and eventually had to stay. Madeline tells her once again that there is no way out. Then she asks Mina to come with her because she wants to show her something. Madeline leads Mina back into the forest. While walking, she tells Mina that this forest is like a hunter, and all of them are its prey. She says that if Mina wants to stay alive, she needs to remain with the group. Madeline then shows her many point of no return signs placed all around the forest in a large circle. Right in the middle of that circle is the room where they are all staying. Madeline tells Mina that these signs are placed about half a day away from their shelter. She warns her that if she goes beyond them, it may become very difficult to return before night. So whenever Mina sees one of these signs, she should never ignore it. Mina then asks who made all of this. Madeline tells her that a professor created these signs and this whole system, but no one has ever actually seen him. Soon, night arrives and everyone returns to the shelter. Every night, the Watchers come to observe them. That night, Kira dances in front of the glass and says that the Watchers enjoy things like this. It is not necessary for all four of them to stand still in front of the Watchers the entire night. They can move around and do whatever they want, but there is one important thing they cannot do. They must never turn their backs toward the glass. If they do that, the Watchers become extremely angry. At night, their biggest problem is the Watchers. But even during the day, life in the forest is not easy. Every day, they have to go into the forest and hunt for food so they can survive. The next day, Kira and Mina go hunting together. While they are walking through the forest, Mina asks what the Watchers actually want from them. Kira says that she does not know much about them either. She only knows what Madeline has told them. According to Madeline, the Watchers come every night to watch and study them. But if a human ever sees the Watchers clearly, that person may lose their mind because the creatures look terrifying. Kira then shows Mina a large hole in the ground. She explains that many holes like this are spread across the forest. During the daytime, all the Watchers stay inside these underground holes. At night, they come out. They cannot move around freely in daylight because sunlight burns their skin. Kira then tells Mina that she came to this forest with her husband 5 months ago. Since then, both of them have been trapped here. But 6 days ago, her husband left the shelter to search for a way out of the forest. Kira still believes that he will return and safely lead all of them out of this place. At this point, we understand that Kira's husband is actually the same man we saw at the beginning of the movie. He was the man who was dragged away by something in the forest, which means he is already dead. After talking for some time, Mina and Kira return to the shelter. There, Madeline explains 3 important rules that Mina must follow if she wants to stay alive. The first rule is that she must never open the shelter door at night. The second rule is that she must never turn her back toward the mirror at night. The third rule is that during the daytime, she must stay away from the underground holes and remain in the light as much as possible. Madeline tells Mina that as long as she follows these rules, she will stay alive. But Mina still does not fully believe anything Madeline is saying. That night, Mina becomes even more curious about the Watchers. She walks close to the glass and places her her ear against it, trying to hear something from the other side, but she cannot hear anything. This makes Mina start thinking that Madeline may have made up the entire story about the Watchers, so Mina decides to break one of the rules. She turns her back toward the glass and goes to sleep. The moment she does this, the Watchers become furious. They start hitting the glass again and again with great force. The loud noise wakes Madeline immediately. She quickly tells Mina to get up and face the glass. Mina does what she says, and only then do the Watchers finally calm down. This proves that when a person turns their back toward the Watchers, they see it as an insult. The rest of the night passes, and the next day Mina goes hunting with Daniel. While they are walking, Mina asks Daniel if he has ever actually seen a Watcher. Daniel says that he has never seen one either. He also tells her that anyone who gets close enough to see the Watchers does not survive. Mina then tells Daniel that she thinks Madeline may be trapping them with made-up stories. She believes they should go and check those underground holes themselves. Maybe one of those holes could lead to a way out of the forest. Daniel has also become tired of living in this place. He wants to find any possible way to escape, so he agrees with Mina. The two of them make their way toward one of the holes. Mina then ties a rope around herself and begins climbing down into it. Daniel stays outside and holds the other end of the rope. This way, if anything happens to Mina inside the hole, he can quickly pull her back out. Mina finally reaches the bottom of the hole, where she finds a large amount of human belongings scattered everywhere. She starts collecting whatever she can find. All of these things belong to people who had entered the forest before and later became victims of the Watchers. With the help of the rope, Daniel pulls out a camera, a bicycle, and other useful items from the hole. Mina stays below and waits for Daniel to throw the rope back down so she can climb out. But before she can leave, she hears movement somewhere deeper inside the hole. Mina immediately becomes scared and calls out to Daniel, telling him to throw the rope down quickly. At the same time, a Watcher slowly reaches its hand toward her. Luckily, Mina is standing in an area where sunlight is reaching inside. The moment the light touches the Watcher's hand, its skin begins to burn. Just then, Daniel throws the rope down to Mina, and she quickly grabs it and climbs back out. Mina is completely terrified by what she has just seen. The two of them take all the items they found and return to the safe house. When Madeline sees the things, she asks where they found them. Mina and Daniel lie and say that they simply found the items somewhere in the forest. But Madeline has been trapped in this forest for a long time, so she immediately understands that they must have taken everything from one of the holes. She asks Mina directly what she saw down there, but Mina refuses to tell her. Mina and Daniel are actually excited because they found a camera inside the hole. They believe that tonight they may finally be able to see the Watchers. Daniel somehow connects the camera to the television so they can watch the creatures on the screen. Madeline repeatedly warns them that what they are doing is dangerous and wrong, but neither of them listens to her. That night, everyone sits and waits for the Watchers to arrive so they can finally see them through the camera. But even though it gets very late, no Watcher appears in front of the glass. Something much stranger is about to happen instead. While they are talking, someone suddenly knocks on the door. Everyone becomes silent because someone is standing outside. They quickly look at the television, and through the camera they can see what looks like a pair of human legs. Then the person outside begins speaking in the voice of Kira's husband. He asks her to open the door quickly. Kira immediately believes that her husband has finally returned after finding a way out of the forest. She gets up and rushes toward the door. But Madeline quickly stops her and refuses to let her open it. Madeline tells Kira that the person outside is not her husband. She knows that no normal human could safely reach the shelter in the middle of the night, but Kira does not want to believe her. She keeps trying to open the door. Madeline then tells her that whatever is outside is trying to trick her. She says Kira should test it by asking a question that only she and her husband would know the answer to. Kira asks the person outside about a certain book that her husband should know about, but the person gives no answer. At that moment, they realize that it is actually a Watcher pretending to be her husband. When they refuse to open the door, the Watcher becomes angry and destroys the camera placed outside. This also reveals something important. The Watchers are able to copy human forms and pretend to be people they have seen. Their anger becomes even worse after this. They start hitting the glass again and again with so much force that a large crack appears in it. Madeline quickly takes control of the situation. She makes everyone stand in a line facing the glass. After they do this, the Watchers slowly begin to calm down. A short time later, they finally leave the area. After everything becomes quiet, Mina admits the truth to Madeline. She tells her that they really did take all of those things from inside one of the holes. Hearing this makes Madeline extremely angry. She tells them that they have now broken another important rule. The next morning, Madeline gathers all the items they brought back and carries them to the same hole. She throws everything back inside, hoping this will calm the Watchers and stop them from becoming even more aggressive. It seems to work for a while, but after this incident, strange things begin happening throughout the forest. The group starts seeing things that do not make sense, and Daniel is affected by these strange events more than anyone else. Daniel suddenly starts getting angry over small things, and his behavior becomes more aggressive with each passing moment. On the other side, Kira is completely broken inside. Until now, she still had hoped that her husband was alive and would return one day to rescue her. But now she finally understands that he is never coming back. This destroys the last bit of hope she had left. Kira decides that she has no reason to live anymore, so she plans to jump into one of the Watcher's holes and end her life. Just as she is about to do it, Mina reaches her in time and saves her. Meanwhile, Daniel is staring at Madeline in a very strange way. He suddenly loses control and ties Madeline to a tree. Daniel says that he is done following the old woman's rules. From now on, everyone will listen to him instead. Night is getting close, so Daniel quickly runs toward the safe room and Kira follows him. Mina, however, stays behind and goes to Madeline. She begins untying the ropes around her. At the same time, Daniel takes Kira inside the room and locks the door from the inside. He leaves Mina and Madeline outside for the Watchers. Mina and Madeline keep begging him to open the door. They repeatedly ask Daniel to let them inside, but he refuses. Soon, darkness covers the entire forest, and the time for the Watchers to come out finally arrives. With no other choice, Mina and Madeline hide under a thick tree to save their lives. After some time, they begin hearing the deep growling sounds of the Watchers nearby. For the first time, we also get a clear look at some of these creatures. They are tall, thin, and extremely frightening. One by one, they come out of their underground holes and move toward the safe room to watch the humans like they do every night. But when they arrive and realize that Mina and Madeline are missing, they become interested in finding them. The Watchers spread through the forest and begin searching for the two women. When the creatures finally move away from the safe room, Mina and Madeline use the chance to run back there. They reach the door and once again beg Daniel to open it. This time, Daniel finally feels some sympathy for them and unlocks the door. As soon as Mina and Madeline get inside, Madeline first becomes furious with Daniel for what he has done. Then she makes everyone stand in front of the glass and decides to tell them the truth about the Watchers. Madeline says that they have already broken too many rules, and she does not think the Watchers will forgive them this time. She tells the group that when she first arrived in this forest, she saw something that completely shocked her. She saw a copy of herself standing nearby, but it was not really her. It was a Watcher trying to take her form. The copy was not perfect because its eyes and hair still look slightly wrong. Mina then asks what the Watchers really are. Madeline explains that these creatures were once fairies. Long ago, fairies used to live alongside humans. They were magical beings with wings and special powers. But over time, humans began to fear them because of those powers. Eventually, humans decided that the fairies were too dangerous and needed to be stopped. Humans greatly outnumbered them, so the fairies could not fight back. The humans captured them and locked them inside a huge underground prison in the forest. A powerful curse was then used to keep them trapped there forever. The fairies remained underground for hundreds of years. But as time passed, they slowly dug tunnels through the earth and created ways to reach the surface again. The creatures that now come out of the holes as Watchers are actually those same fairies. After living underground for so many centuries, they lost their wings and most of their magical powers. Their bodies also became sensitive to sunlight, which is why they can only move freely at night. However, one power still remains. They can change their appearance and copy the form of humans. Daniel then asks Madeline what the Watchers actually want from them and why they come every night just to stare at them. Madeline explains that the Watchers want to leave the forest and live among humans once again, but in their real form, they could never blend into human society. That is why they keep people trapped here. Every night, they watch them closely and study how they move, behave, speak, and react. By observing them, the Watchers are learning how to copy humans more perfectly. Their goal is to take human forms, learn the ways of the modern world, and eventually leave the forest without anyone knowing what they truly are. Madeline is still explaining all of this when suddenly the Watchers return. The moment they realize that Mina and Madeline have made it back inside the room, they become furious. They surround the shelter and begin attacking the door with full force, trying to break their way inside. The four of them quickly drag a table in front of the door, so the Watchers cannot break through it easily. But the Watchers are extremely strong, and everyone realizes that the door will not hold for long. They know the creatures may enter at any moment, and for the first time, death feels very close. While moving the table, the carpet on the floor gets pulled aside. When they remove it completely, they discover a large metal door hidden underneath. They quickly open it and realize that there is a huge bunker below the safe room. Without wasting any time, all four of them climb down into the bunker and close the heavy metal door above them. Everyone is shocked because this bunker was under their feet the whole time, yet none of them knew about it. Inside, they find many useful things. There is enough stored food to to last for thousands of days, a computer, and many other supplies needed for survival. Mina wants to know who built this place, so she turns on the computer. A huge amount of data is saved inside it. After checking the files, they discover that the entire place was created by Professor Martin. The professor already knew about the creatures living in the forest and wanted to study the Watchers closely. That is why he built the bunker. He used money to bring other people into the forest for different jobs. At night, he would leave those workers inside the room above while he secretly hid in the bunker. The Watchers would then come and kill those people, while Professor Martin continued his research from below. In another recorded video, Professor Martin talks about something very unusual he discovered during his experiments. He found one fairy that was completely different from the others. This creature was able to come out of the underground holes even during daylight. The professor explains that this Watcher had copied the form of a little girl so perfectly that no one could tell the difference. The creature was also calm and did not kill Professor Martin. Because of this, he brought it back with him. Then the professor turns the camera toward the other side of the room. Everyone sees that he has locked the creature, still in the form of a young girl, inside a cage. It is unclear what kind of experiment he planned to perform on her. The computer contains many different recordings, and every video reveals something new about his research. But Mina only wants to know what happened in the end, so she opens the final recording. In that video, Professor Martin says that he is going to kill both himself and the fairy. Before doing that, he leaves an important message for anyone who might become trapped in the forest in the future. He explains that there is a way out. Every evening, the birds fly in the direction that leads outside the forest. If someone follows the same direction, they may be able to escape. Professor Martin also leaves another request. He says that if anyone manages to leave the forest alive, they should go to the university and destroy all of his research. He admits that coming to this place and studying these creatures was a terrible mistake. After finishing the message, Professor Martin leaves the room. A few moments later, 2 gunshots are heard. From this, they understand that he first shot the fairy and then killed himself. Despite everything they have just learned, the 4 of them are happy because they finally know how to escape the forest. The next morning, they come out of the bunker and immediately see that the Watchers have completely destroyed their safe house. Now they have no choice but to leave the forest that same day. If they fail, they will have nowhere safe to hide when night comes, and the Watchers will almost certainly kill them. So they begin their journey through the forest. Professor Martin had said that the birds would fly toward the exit in the evening, but they cannot wait until then because they need to escape before darkness. Mina then gets an idea. She releases the parrot she has been carrying with her. As soon as the bird flies away, the group starts following the same direction. While traveling, they come across a grave. Madeline looks at it and explains that there was once a time when humans and fairies lived together, but humans treated the fairies badly. They betrayed them, trapped them inside these forests, and then abandoned them. After traveling for several hours, the group finally reaches a river. There, they find a boat that once belonged to Professor Martin. Everyone becomes extremely happy because it looks like they are finally close to escaping, but their happiness does not last long. By the time they reach the boat, darkness has already fallen, and the time for the Watchers to come out has arrived. Before they can get into Professor Martin's boat and leave the area, they suddenly hear someone shouting from behind them. When they turn around, they see Kira's husband calling for help. He looks badly injured and can barely move. Everyone else is already inside the boat, so Daniel goes alone to help him. Daniel grabs Kira's husband and starts pulling him toward the boat. But then the others notice something terrifying. The person Daniel is helping is not actually human, it is a Watcher. Right in front of them, the creature changes its appearance and takes Daniel's form. The others can only watch from the boat because there is nothing they can do to save him. A moment later, the Watcher kills Daniel. The group already knows that the Watchers cannot cross the river, so Mina, Madeline, and Kira quickly leave in the boat. They finally cross the river and manage to reach the city safely, but the biggest twist in the story comes after this. Once they reach the city, the 3 women go their separate ways. A few days later, Mina goes to Professor Martin's university because she wants to follow his final request and destroy all of his research. Before she can delete the research data, she finds a tape recorder in his office. When Mina listens to it, she learns another shocking secret. Thousands of years ago, when humans and fairies still lived together, some humans even married fairies. The children born from a human and a fairy had qualities from both sides. These children were known as halflings. Halflings had a very special ability. They were so good at changing their appearance that they could even take the form of a person who was already dead. Professor Martin believed that when humans trapped the fairies inside the forest long ago, some halflings escaped and secretly started living among humans by changing their forms. According to him, some of those halflings may still be living among humans even today. While Mina continues searching through Professor Martin's office, she finds some old photographs. One of the pictures completely shocks her. The woman standing beside Professor Martin in the photo is Madeline. Mina realizes that Madeline was actually Professor Martin's wife. She becomes confused because Madeline never told them anything about this while they were trapped in the forest. Mina decides to share this discovery with Kira. She goes to her and explains that the Madeline they met in the forest was actually Professor Martin's wife. But then Mina reveals something even more disturbing. Madeline could not really have been his wife because she was not human. She was actually a shape-shifting fairy. Mina explains that after doing more research, she discovered that Professor Martin's real wife, Madeline, had died from cancer many years earlier. Hearing this, Kira asks an obvious question. If the real Madeline died years ago, then who was the woman who stayed with them in the forest all this time? Mina says that she finally understands what happened. Professor Martin was deeply broken after losing his wife and desperately wanted her back. Later, when he discovered the shape-shifting fairies, he captured the unusual creature that had taken the perfect form of a young girl. This was the same fairy that was different from the others because she could also survive outside during the daytime. Professor Martin then showed the creature pictures of his dead wife and taught it to copy Madeline's appearance. In this way, the fairy slowly became a perfect copy of his wife. Mina then tells Kira that she has already called Madeline to come there. Their plan is to somehow send her back to the forest before she can cause more trouble. Just then, a car arrives outside. Someone steps out of it, and the moment Mina sees that person, she freezes in shock. The woman getting out of the car is Kira. That means the person who has been standing beside Mina this entire time is not Kira at all. It is Madeline, and she has already taken Kira's form. As soon as Kira enters the house, Madeline changes into the form of Kira's husband and knocks her unconscious. Mina then asks Madeline what she really wants. Madeline becomes angry and finally tells her the truth. She says that she was always different from the other fairies. Since childhood, the others made fun of her and never accepted her because she was not like them. She became completely alone inside the forest and always wanted to leave that place so she could live among humans. Then one day, Professor Martin came into the forest. He captured her and locked her inside a cage. He told her that if she agreed to take the form of his dead wife, he would take her out of the forest. Madeline accepted his offer. Professor Martin taught her everything about his wife, including the way she spoke, behaved, and lived. But later, the professor betrayed her and tried to kill her. Before he could do it, Madeline killed him instead. She tells Mina that humans were never worthy of trust and never will be. Now Mina also knows her secret, so Madeline says she cannot allow her to stay alive. She plans to kill Mina, take her appearance, and continue living among humans in her form. Madeline then changes into Mina and starts choking her. While struggling to breathe, Mina tells Madeline something that stops her. She asks if Professor Martin ever explained why she was able to come out during the daytime. Mina tells her that the real reason is that she is a hybrid. She is half human and half fairy. That is why she can survive among both humans and fairies. Mina says that she understands what it feels like to live alone, but Madeline is not the only halfling in the world. There are others just like her who are already living secretly among humans in different forms. The moment Madeline hears this truth, her body suddenly begins changing. She starts returning to her real form, and wings appear from her back. After realizing what she truly is, Madeline leaves Mina alive and flies away. A few weeks later, we see that Mina is now living with her sister. Mina tells her that she feels like the fairy may still be following her. Her sister tries to calm her down and says that she should not be afraid because nothing is there. But in the final scene, we see a young girl standing outside below Mina's home. That little girl is actually Madeline, who has now chosen another form and is still living in the human world. With this, the story comes to an end. If you liked this movie recap, then like the video and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to our channel to see more such amazing movie recaps. Thanks for watching.